one on the 28th of July. Um, Basically, what we're going to talk about today. So in the last session, just to remember for everyone, a reminder for everyone, in the last session, we introduced Kalipso. We spoke a bit about multi-language, about databases, online and offline connections, and also barcode connection. In this session, Emmanuel will guide you through web services, also through loopers. It's not here in these topics, but we will talk about loopers as well today, and as well as app auto update. Probably some of you saw the topic of RFID not mentioned today, but we're going to mention that in the last session. We didn't have the time to test the RFID scanner, but hopefully we will be able to do it in the last session. And that's it. To all of you, like in the last session, you have the chat. You can ask us anything you wish in there. We prefer that you maintain the questions about the topics that we're going to mention in this session, and well, enjoy the session, and I will see you in the end in the question and answer part. Emmanuel, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I hope today I bring a different bottle so I can drink water and don't die. Let's hope. Okay, so we stopped here with these two buttons that was related with the INI files.
Sorry, just a technical thing. We didn't we didn't share your screen yet.
Sorry. One moment. Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Oh, okay. Let me close my camera. Okay, so last session we stopped here with two buttons to write files, to write a INI file. This is like a setting. So I will start with this point because we need to complete the information regarding the communication profile. We created a communication profile to talk with Mish Communicator, but of course you will need to change the IP address of the communication profile. Okay, so let me create a new form. Okay, and on this window you can see communication profile here. Okay, and this will create a form with the settings that you need. Let's just select server and port. Okay. So, and I will create a new button here for settings. Show form. Okay. If we see what's going on. Sorry. Settings. Now we have the IP address of our communication profile. This is useful if you create an application and then you have and of course you will have a different server to connect your application, your customer server. So you need to specify the IP address or the public IP address and probably change that. We can try. So let me change this to 9. Okay, and if I try to sync, this will wait some moment and then you will get an error because you don't have a communication connection with Mish Communicator. Okay, so let's go to Kalipso. Okay, there is our error. Let's go to Kalipso and and see what we can. What is this? This anything. It's not a special form or anything. It's actions. Okay, this is just one example how to create a form to manage these. And my recommendation is that you save these preferences or in a ini file. Okay, there are many people that like to use ini files. I personally don't like it, but it's like liking a color or not. It's the same. I personally like to save everything on a database. Okay, so you can create. I was just moving these buttons. You can create a local database for settings. Let's create some values here. Okay, this probably will be the most basic database for settings. So every time I open my application, I will save the details. I will just save the server, okay, to make my life easier now. I will save the server. Let's assume this is one. This will be input server, where my ID equal 1. I don't really need to change that here. Okay. So if we go to this screen and then we save, okay, this will set the communication profile, and then we update the value on the database. And now every time we open the application, we can check that validation and do that. Let's see. So I will select where my settings ID equals 1, and I will select my server IP address okay, if record count if we don't have anything, it's because it's the first time we are running the application. So what I will do, I will save the default settings for the database. So I can go communication, get communication profile parameter. This is exactly the same thing that is on that form. Let me save that to the variable. And then I will insert ID 1, and settings will be this one. Otherwise, instead of getting the value and inserting for the first time, I will just set communication profile parameter, server, and my IP address. Okay, so now we have a reliable, offline, not file dependent way to manage our settings. Okay, see, so this was the default IP address, and of course, if I ping, should work. Yes. If I go to settings and change that to 9, I can save it. I can exit my application, and if I go back to the application, if I try to ping, will not work because you see it's the wrong IP address. My IP address is not this one. Okay, this is one way to do it. You have 100 ways to do it. You can set your IP address based on your GPS location or on your user, on your program. I don't know. It depends how you want to do it. Okay, but the actions will be get communication profile parameter and set communication profile parameter, and you can change everything. You can change the password, the port, and so on. We also have, and you can also change the database connection profile. So let's imagine that the password of your customer service is different from your password. So you can also change this. The logic is the same. I will not repeat, but the logic is exactly the same. One thing that I also want to do, and this will be useful for those that will use iOS devices, is how I can test this application without a USB connection. Okay. So let me open my smartphone. Okay. So on Android, it's easy because you can either copy Kappa client to the phone, or you can go to the Play Store and you can search for sysdev, and you can install Kalipso client. Okay. Let's open. So now our Kalipso client don't have anything, and let me minimize this. And now, if you want to synchronize this project with the key client, I need something. I'll go to deploy, create an update, device 1 to device 1, generate. Can go back to my phone, communication settings. I will put the same IP address of my mesh communicator. And I think I had a strong password like this. And let me check the connection. Okay, it's working. So I will save, and now I can sync. So now I have the project, and I didn't need a USB connection. This also works for iOS deployment, but of course for iOS deployment, you first need to digital sign the key client and upload the key client to your iPhone, iPad with USB. The step by step, they are some steps, about 4 or 5 steps. They are described here, so you can click here and you can read the documentation to sign the key client and then copy the key client for iOS. The Apple doesn't allow us to have key client inside Apple Store because they say, and with some reason, that we allow people to run application without their permission, and that's a violation of Apple rules. So you can digital sign key client and then you can deploy it to your iPhone. But of course, if you want to distribute an application, you need to go to Apple Store, and Apple needs to approve and test your application. Okay, and you need to be right with their rules. Okay, so read this documentation. We have step by step how to install key client on your smartphone or your iOS device, and don't skip steps. Okay. And after that, the syncing process is exactly the same Android. Okay, so let's go back to Android. So, but we also can do other things. Let's say you have an application and you don't want to put your application in Google Play, or you want a different way to update your application, or you have a desktop application. So we can also create an update button. It doesn't need to be a button. You can use like some kind of logic. Let's say every time you open the application, you will check if you have an update or not. But let's go with the button because it's simple to explain. Update actions, and we have an action that is update project. So we already have a communication profile. I don't know if I mentioned, but you can have multiple communication profiles, and you can have multiple mesh communicators. So let's say you can have a mesh communicator for your SQL server, and you can have a miscommunicator for Exchange files, and you can have a miscommunicator on your company just to deliver updates to your customers. So you can have multiple communication profiles. For now, I'm just using one, so I will update always. I'm not checking if the version of the project is different or not, or higher. So I just want to update always, just to show you how to do it. And that's it. So I will deploy this one more time like this. Okay. Oh, sorry. Exit the application, click here. Okay. See, now we have the button to update. So let me move that to a different place. So now we make the new version. So I will click update. Now I just need the synchro folder, generate. Okay. And if I click on update, it's there. Okay. This will update your application automatically. So where is the synchro folder? Let me open miscommunicator. Stop. Products. The synchro folder is here. So you can specify a different folder, okay? If we go there, see, this is the project that was generated. Okay. So this is one way to update your application. This is quite useful for operating system like Windows that doesn't have, now Windows have, but before they didn't have a store. Or if you don't want to put your application in the Google Play Store because it's an internal application and you don't want to be public about that, or you don't want to comply with the Google rules. With Apple, you need to go through Apple Store unless you have a business account, and then you can distribute your application inside your business account. But that is a little bit more expensive, and you need to read carefully the rules they have. Okay. Okay. Now we can update our application remotely. I don't need to be always testing on Android. Okay. So last session, someone asked me about loopers. So let's go and talk about them. Okay. So, but to talk about them, I will use a web service. Form. I think it's this one. I don't remember. Okay. Let me close this. Okay. So I have here an example. Let me see, where is it? It's this one. Okay. So I have here a web service. This is a REST web service. Okay. And we will exchange information in a JSON format, but you can also use XML or SOAP. Okay. But the basic idea is the same, so I will use the REST because it's an easier example for me. So we have, this is an ERP, okay? So you have customers, banks, articles, and so on, okay? Basic stuff of an ERP. And I have here articles, and I have different methods to get these articles. one way, if you want to test, and I strongly recommend that if you want to test before going to Kalipso, you can use Postman. There are other tools over there, but I think Postman is free and it's good for testing a web service. Okay, but let's talk about Get. So this is Get articles. This will get me all the articles that I have on my ERP, and I can try it here. Okay, and as you can see on CURL, we have a get and we have a header. The header is accept application JSON, and then we have a URL. Okay, and we have an API key. And the response will be something like this. So it's a JSON file with an array of elements, and inside the elements will be the values that we really want. Okay, the name of the article, the barcode, the quantity, and so the ID of the article. Okay, so we want to save these. So first thing, I will create a database with the same logic. Okay, and it will be a local database. Okay, columns, ID, name, image, code bar, and I don't need code bar, and quantity. Okay, so let's take a closer look. So everything that is between double quote, it's a string, and without double quote, it's a numeric value. So ID, it's a numeric value, and this one is also a numeric value. So numeric. And I put image, but if you see, it's an image, but it's on base 64. So we need to process this in a different way, but let's keep that column over there. So the ID will be our key, okay? So, and here I will do again everything with the button. You don't need to do that. This is just to make my explanation easier. So no one will have an application with a button that is get. HTTP. So everything related with the web service will be using HTTP request. So here is where I define where is the target of my response. So I have a body. And my body will be this one, okay? This is in Spanish, but is body of response. On this web service, I really don't need to care about the code and about the status, because this particular web service always return 200 okay. So it's a quite nice web service. Even if I did something wrong, the response will be always 200, and then will tell you something inside. So, but you need to read the documentation of your web service. Each web service are a little bit different, so read the documentation. Okay, so I need to be careful about my body, and I have a server and an object. Let's copy that. So this is my server. Inside double quotes again. These are coming from, if you see the three little dots, this can be dynamic, this can be from a different variable, or even from a different database, so we can fetch that value from elsewhere, okay? So object will be this one. And again, this is completely dynamic. The API can come from other place, so we don't need to use this. And we have a special port. and this is a get. So all the other methods are here. And we have a header. It's a set application JSON. You don't need a body. And I know for experience that I need to ignore my certificate because my certificate is invalid. So probably, and I hope you don't need to do that. This is just my test scenario that is certificate is no longer valid. Okay, let's go to the simulator. Okay. Okay, so good. So now we have our JSON in Kalipso. So now we need to do something to the JSON. So we need to parse the JSON file to our database. Let's imagine that this HTTP request takes a long time. Let's imagine that it's a big file, and you need to tell something to the user that something is happening. So you can use the action hourglass on, okay, and hourglass off when you finish the job. Just to be careful, every time you see a little plus, it's that this action can generate an error. Let's say you lost internet connection in the middle or something else. So if this action generated an error, what happens is that on error, this will present a message and then cancel everything that is after all the actions that are after this action. So you may want to copy paste hourglass and cancel hourglass before sending the message box. And the message box is a generic message box from the operating system, but you can change that, or you can add your own information to call the IT guy to your error. Okay, so something like that, and you can close this again. Forget about it. But this is interesting. Let me put a sleep here, just so this action will be slower, and you can see the little thing going around. Okay, let's test on the Android because it's pretty. Okay, so update web service get. See, so it's doing something. The user know that the application is doing something. Maybe that sleep was too much. Okay, and it's done. Let's go back. I will comment the sleep. Okay, HTTP request. We have the variable body filled in, so we need to parse the body to the database. So we have several actions to parse JSON, and we can use JSON get value to extract just one value, but I will use JSON import to table to extract everything to the table. Okay, so it's a text that is on the variable body, and my target table will be artm. Okay, and I want to extract an array. It's this one. So, and I want the ID, target ID, numeric, right click, add item, so name, target, name, it's a string, add item. This will be the quantity. It's a numeric. Okay. So let's see if this is working. It's working. I have my articles, they are cameras, and I have the quantity, I just don't have the image. Why I don't have the image? The image, as I told you, it's base 64, so they are not sending the location of the image, they are sending the full image. And you don't want to save that to the database. It doesn't make sense in Kalipso. You need the file, okay? So we need to convert that to a file, and then we save the location of the image here, and then we show the image on the screen. But before going there, let's show some values on the screen. Okay, I will add a looper. And the looper, it's like a table. The logic of the looper, it's the same logic that we saw before for the table. The only difference is that the table, you will have columns and lines, and here, basically, what will go on the line, you can put anywhere. You can put it on a button, you can put on an image, you can put on an input box or a label or anything, okay? So the looper, it's a table where you can add anything, okay? So, and you can have a looper on the vertical or horizontal, okay? And with one or more columns, I will just use one column. For now, we can change that later. So let me expand that. So, and I will work on that white part. This is my cell. If you want to make it the full, so the width of the screen is 240, so I can change that. So 240, 240. Okay, so now for sure that is corner to corner here. So we have the ID and we have the name and we also have the quantity. So let me put the name. Okay, let's give a proper name to the name. Okay. And I want to change the quantity later. So I will put an input box. If you want, because we know that this is a numeric value, you can change the input type to a numeric value. Remember the question regarding the keyboard. And for now, that's it. Okay, if I try to run this, I don't get anything because for now, this is not connected to anything. So I'll need to go to the gray area here, double click, content. The content that I will load to the table will come from the table, plus article, name, label name, article, quantity, input quantity. Okay, so this part is exactly the same. And you can do with the query, it's exactly the same logic of the table. Oh, and I forgot one step. Refresh control. The looper. And if we are getting more information, we can also do refresh control the looper. See, I already have everything here. I didn't click on the get because it's already in the database. So now I have everything on my screen. Here on Windows, I have this bar, but on Android, I don't have the bar. This is using swipe. Create an update. Okay. So now I have all the cameras. Let's just so you can have an idea. So this is a looper. So Gmail, it's a looper. Okay. Here is our looper. So here is our looper. And we have a cell. And we have a small box for the icon. And we have a text. And we have another icon. And we have another text. And we have another text. And we have another text. So see, this is a looper. This is basically what we are doing on Kalipso. Let's exit this. Okay. So now we need to take care about the image, right? I will move that here. So I'll put a separator. It's just to make the code a little bit cleaner. Let's go back to the JSON file. So we have a JSON with an array, and inside an array, I will have an image, and I need to convert that image to a file. So now I don't have any easy way to do that, so I have to do it manually. So first thing, JSON get value, my body, and I want the sub item, this one. The target will be my array. Okay, now we have the array. So now we can use a cycle for each. You can also use a while, but the for each, we have a special action for a JSON array. And every time I have an iteration, I will have a new item. And with this, I don't need to create variables and so on. So the action will take care of everything. So what will happen is the first time the for each will run will give me this and so on. So now inside the for each, I need to fetch the image. I can bring back this here. So we can add separator. Okay, let's get the image again. JSON get item from my item, and I want my image. Sorry. Okay, but sorry, I got the wrong action. Is JSON get file item image to my image. Okay. But I need something else because I want to save the name of the image, and I want to save the image. So I need to create a name for the image, and I want to save the location of the image, or at least the name of the image on my database. So I will get a new value that is ID, because I need the ID to update the value on the database. And now I need to create a file name. Set value. Let's create a file name. Let's combine the name. Okay, I know the image, it's a PNG because it's on the documentation, so we need to read it first. Okay, saving to the variable. So now I have the name, and I have the image, and I have the ID. So first thing, I will save the image to the file system. So file save content. The file name will be pfolder plus file name. We already talked about pfolder last session. And the value will be, okay, will not be image because we need to convert from base64 to the binary. Where is it? Base64 decode image. Okay, okay. Save. So now the file is saved, and now we can update on the table. So here I will just put the image. Sorry, the file name, where my ID is equal to the ID. And last but not least, let's put a small image here. Now we can even do it a little bit like Google. Okay, don't mind my drawing skills. Just ignore them. And so let's go to the property of the looper, content table plus not this one, image to the image. That's it. The looper will assume that is on pfolder, so you don't have to provide the full path of the image. So let's try the simulator again. Get. Okay, so now we have our cameras. Okay, the looper it's quite flexible. Let's do some. Let me play a little bit with the looper. Let's go here to the SQL. Okay, so we have. Okay, let's create a rule that everything that is above 400, I will show something, or I will change the color of this. Okay, so I double click the looper, so I'm on actions. As you can see, you can click, selection change, right click, item added, and the item added is interesting. So what I will do, I will check the value of the quantity, and if it is above 400, I will change the color of, I don't know, the text background, can be the background. Or I can show a little icon. Let's do that. Let's show a little icon. Let me put it black. Oh, and that would be perfect. Okay, let me reduce the size. Okay, so I don't need to see the icon only if it's above 400. So I will not, I'll remove the visibility. Okay. And let's go here, action, item added. So if my input quantity is above 400, set property, I should give it a proper name. Image I, properties of the looper, actions, set property. Okay, image I, set property, visible, yes. That's it. So let's try again. See, this one doesn't have an eye, this one has an eye. So you can change locations, you can change everything. With the set property, you can change everything related to the controls. Okay, probably 400 was not a good example. Let me see. Yes, see this one, it's less than 400. Oh, only this. Okay, but you get the idea. So now we can get values from the web service. We can see values on the looper. We can see image on the looper. So now let's do the next step, that is change one value and send that value back to the web service. So I will change the quantity and I will send that value to the quantity. Okay. So let me double click here. So I have an input, a numeric input, and let's think about SQL. So if I need to update a value, every time I need to update something, I need to, let's say I need to create an update where ID equals something. Okay. So let me start writing the update. Articles, yes. So I want to save what is my new quantity, okay? And my ID will be so equal to, okay, this is the problem. Which ID? I don't have the ID on the screen because I just have the name. And to be honest, you don't know where you are, okay? So this variable is not good. So how we can do that? So I'll use this variable, okay, but it's not good. So we need to manage something about this. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go to the looper. So on the content, we are loading name, quantity, and the image. I need to load the ID. So we have two options, or either create a control on the screen with the value of the ID, or I can give that value to a hidden value of some control that is already there. So let's do that. So I will give ID to, let's say, the input quantity and hidden value of the input quantity. So now my input quantity will have two values. the one that is on the screen and the one that no one knows that is there, okay? So I will grab that value before I do the update. So get property from my input quantity, my hidden value, and I will save my hidden value to the ID before the update, okay? So now I have the correct ID, and now I can update the value. This is one step, okay? We save the value to the database. That's okay, but we want to send the value back to the server, right? So we have a post, okay? Let me try. So I can have a post to send some change to a variable, to article, and I need a header, and I need a JSON file, and I need the URL, and I need to pay attention about this because I need to send the ID inside the URL. So the URL will be dynamic, okay? So let's go here to the save. Let's go to the, and I will use the JSON, the HTTP request. Okay. So server will be this one. The object will be this one. And I need to make it dynamic. So I need to send the ID over there. Let me change the port. This is a post. And on my request, I have a header, content type, and application JSON. Okay. And now I need to send a JSON file like this one. And in reality, I just need the ID and the value, the file I want to change. So I will delete everything here. And I have a problem. How can I send a double quote inside a double quote? As you can see in Kalipso, everything that is a string, we send inside the double quote. So we need to do something about this. So what I normally do, I'll copy this. I will go to my little friend Notepad++ or anything else. So, and I can search and replace the double quote by double quote plus the quote plus double quote. I replace everything, copy this, apply here, add the last double quote, add the first double quote, and that's it. Okay, this will send the double quote inside the double quote. Okay, it's a bit ugly, but we will make this more pretty in a moment. Okay, let's just wait a little bit. Okay, so I need to send the ID and I need to send the quantity. Let's change that. So I will delete the 0 and I need, again, to add a variable. And this one, same logic, plus. We use the input quantity. And let me change the security to ignore the certificate. And that's it. Okay. Let's check. Okay, let's change this to 1, 2, 3. Save it. And let's check, I think this one, it's the ID number 1. And let's check if with the web service. Sorry, ID number 1. Correct. So the web service is working. Let's improve this. Let's improve this. How can I improve this? I will copy this to the right click, okay? And I will, these two things are okay, okay? The get property and the update on my local database, it's okay. But I will improve the HTTP request. And now how can I improve that? What I will do a JSON export from table to a text file. So I will create a JSON from the database, okay? But I need to define the query. So my query will be select ID and the quantity from my database where my ID equal my ID. So this one, it's column 1, column 2, column list, single element, right click on the mouse, item name, ID as numeric, index number 1, right click, add item. What was the she says? Yes. Again, a numeric, index number 2. That's it. So this will create a JSON for me. So now I can copy the HTTP request that is almost perfect, and I can delete this mess, and I can use the JSON variable. Okay, that's it. They will do the same thing. So let's change that to I will click. See, the JSON export from table created a JSON file, then we send it. Let's test again. Okay, it's good. Let's do something else. I will create a new form. And what I will do here, it's almost the same thing I did with the table. When I click it, the table, and then we get more settings regarding the articles. I will do the same thing here. So the basic idea is that I want to change again my quantity. Okay, I will just put the value here. Let me use this one. Okay, I want my name and my quantity. And of course, I want a save button. And I need a select. Sorry. Okay. Name to input name, and quantity to quantity. Okay, so first thing, how I can go from the looper to the, help me, to the next form. Okay, you can have a button to click to jump to the next form. Okay, where is, and I see I can, so I can put there. Oh, I will just put a label and I will put like that. 20, like. Okay, so if I click here, I will jump to the next form. Okay, so if I double click here, what I will do, I'll show form to the next form. So I need to fill in the ID. Okay, so again, I need get property of my input quantity, my eigenvalue, save it to my ID, and in my show form, I will copy the value from here to 1. Okay. Let me change the name. But imagine that you want to click anywhere else. So do you really want to keep repeating this? No, let's reuse the image. So double click the image, action, execute event, and I should give it a proper name. Sorry, label next screen something. Okay, so we get back again to the image, action, execute event, next screen, click. So clicking here is the same of clicking here, and you can also do for all the looper. Okay, execute event. So you don't need to keep repeating code and duplicating code and so on. Okay. And here I can copy. Sorry. I can copy everything that is here. Okay. But imagine that this is a long process. You make several verifications that I'm not doing here. So let's reuse this code. So I'll copy the code. And I will create a global variable, a global action set that will be save quantity. Now paste the code here. Okay. So we need to make some modifications. Why? A global action set is a function that you can call from any part of the code. Okay. And because you can call it from any part of the code, you don't have access to the data that is on the screen. Local action set can access that information, but global you can't. So the get property here doesn't make sense. Okay, the SQL statement, I need to change that. So I need a variable, a temporary variable for the quantity. And the where, again, I need a temporary variable for the ID. The export, again, I need a new variable. This one I already have, it's the ID. Okay. HTTP request, let's make sure this is not getting in the way. Details, the ID. Okay. And the variable JSON. Okay. So now I can call this from the save. Execute global, oops. Sorry. Execute global action set. And I will send the quantity and ID. Okay. And I can do the same thing here on this button. So I can delete everything here. Not everything, so I can delete almost everything. I need the get property to know on which line I am. And execute global action set. So the quantity it's on the screen and the ID it's on the variable ID. Okay, so now we are reusing code, and this is quite useful. So if you need to change the save, you just need to change in one place and will be available to everywhere where you are working with, or every form or action or button. Okay. So if I want to change that 144, I will save it. Let's check the database 144. If I click here 144, if I change to 555, I will save it. Let's make this a little more fun. Let's create an update. Web service. I will get information from the internet. Okay, 555. So we'll click on the image and I will change that to save, exit. See, we saved and then we exit, and now it's again 555. This is the same problem that we faced with the table. So if you are changing something, you need again to refresh control, or if you want to go a little bit further, imagine this is a really big looper, you can just update one value making a select, but if you don't want to bother, you can just update the looper and that's it. Okay. So let me think. Let me stop the simulator. And I think about the looper and sending. It's more or less okay. Okay. So global action sets, they are really useful, and they are really useful also for other things. See that thing, thread mode? Yes. Okay. So you can run a global action set in thread mode. This is running the function, the global action set in background, as a background process. This can be useful sometimes, okay, but you need to be careful. Why you need to be careful? Imagine that you are sending values to web service like we are doing now, or saving values to database. And imagine that you have multiple processes trying to use or trying to save the same thing to the database. You need to be careful about that. If you are for sure that you don't have any problems like that, so it's okay. If you have problems like that, you need to define a critical session. Let's see this running on the background. Let's make this a little bit the dumbest or the simplest. Web service, global action set. So global action set plus, I will use a local action set. I didn't show it yet. So local action set plus time set value, because it's the local action set, so I can access the values that are on the screen. So get system time and input, yes. So now every time I open my form, I can execute my local action set, and I can define a timer to run my local action set in every 2 seconds. Okay, no, maybe 5. Okay. So now I can keep working. My application will not stop every time my global action set is running, because it's running on the background. I can go and do other things, okay? Remember that because we are running the trace windows here, everything is slow or a bit slow. See the action set running in the background, but of course we can still work. And if I come back, it's still working, unless you stop it, of course. And the action to start and stop, you can call it from anywhere, okay? Just an action. You can call it from a button, you can call it from another local action set, and so on, okay? Yes, so let me see. I think I was too fast today. I already talked about the web service, and yes, I think I was too fast today. Okay, João, are you there?
Hello again, Emmanuel. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great.
Maybe we answer some questions, or did I forget any topic?
I don't think so. We were to talk about, let me see here in the presentation. So we were to talk about web services, loopers, and also the app auto update. So I think you.
How much time do I have?
You still have like about 15 minutes, so then we can go to the question and answers.
Okay, so 15 minutes. I will talk about the visual stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Because the printing will take me a lot. Yes.
Okay. Just before you get into that stuff, just to tell everyone that well, we got some people saying that today was a bit more difficult than the last session. Yeah, it probably was because of the topics that we elaborated today, mainly the one related to web services, where you have to feather your application with information from sources outside of Kalipso that we can't control, where we can control everything, so we can't make everything easy. But if you have any question, if you have any doubt, even if it's a silly one, feel free to ask, and we are here to help you. If we can't help you here, we will try in another way, but feel free to ask anything you wish. Emmanuel.
Okay, if you want, I can start answering questions, because if they are telling this was a bit too fast, I don't have problem to explain again some topics.
No, but I think we can go for the visual stuff first, and then we go for the questions.
Okay, regarding the visual stuff first. So we are using a blue theme. I think, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but you can change everything that is here. Okay, first thing, you can use Adobe XD. I think it's this one. Okay. You can use Adobe XD to design, how can I say, to design an interface, your application, okay? Personally, I don't know how to use Adobe. This is more with designer people. So ask them to design an interface, and then you can import the Adobe, the design to your Kalipso. If you go to our website, not this, sorry. If you go to our website and you go to download, let me log in. Okay, as you can see, we have a plugin for Adobe. So this will convert your design to Kalipso. Okay, this is one way to do it. Okay, other way is to do it manually. So let's do this thing manually. Let's look something like this. Okay, so let's imagine that I like this and I want to do something like this. Some questions I have, normally they ask me about a menu that is a little bit shorter than other menu. Okay, so let's do that. So let's imagine I want to open a menu here. I will use an hamburger icon. Only recently I discovered that they call hamburger button to the little dots somewhere, if I find it. This one. Sorry. Here. Okay. Let me reduce the size of the thing. 32. Let me put on the corner. Okay. So if I click here, I want to open a new form. And I will not use the template, completely blank. But I want to see what's below. How can I do that? So you can change the size of the form. Yes. Okay. Will be something like that, or even something like this. Okay. Yes. And let me close that and that. And if I don't want to be positioned center, I want to position 0, 0. Okay, so on the screen, when I open this form, this will be on the right top corner, like that. Okay. So what we have here? So we have here some pretty letters and a bar with some color. Okay, let's do that. So a bar with some color, I can put a shape, okay, rectangular with the, let's imagine this is a pretty color, okay? Let's reuse the color, top right. So if you want to make sure that it's completely on top to bottom, you can go, okay, so my height is 394. So I'll use that, 394. And if you want really on the corner, 0, 0. Okay. So now we have the, okay, this color is not so pretty, but bear with me. Maybe a little bit darker. Like that. Okay, but imagine that you are seeing the color from the website and you want to use a hexadecimal code, so you can use that, okay? So no problem. So, and you want to use a word menu and some letters. Okay, so how we can use a special font. Okay, I don't know if what I'm doing right now it's completely legal, but make sure that you are doing and using legal fonts, okay? Please. If
The ones which are on the fonts.google are okay, Manuel, but anyway. But I believe it's okay. I've been using it as well, so I think it's
let's
feel free to use. I don't know if you have to just to refer to something somewhere, so that's the point. So it's all
yeah, probably you need to, on the help you need to say you are using robot or fonts from Google or something like that. So I'm not worried about that. Make sure you are legal, okay? Don't tell that I told you to steal some letters, some fonts. Okay, so we have a bunch of them here. Let's go here to resources, fonts, add a new font, regular. So let me see where I have that, downloads, regular. And if they have the same type bold italic, that will import, okay? So now we have the Roboto. And I can use a label, menu, and I want this to be bold, and using the Roboto, probably bigger, and that's it. And with the word, the strange color. Oh, not like that. Where is the color? Close enough. Okay. Maybe bigger. Maybe smaller. I don't know. That 25. Yes, this is better. Okay, so now we defined a label that makes sense, and probably you want to reuse that. How you can reuse this? So imagine that you want to reuse the same color, size, font style in some places. Let me see if the I don't know which one it's better. Let it be. So let's think that you want to reuse this. Double click, see the style, none. You can create a new style. So this is a label menu, 01. Okay, okay. So you want to create a new text with the same thing. Okay, so you can go here and just select the same type. Okay. Now you can reuse the help me use the style. Okay, and we also have an X button over there. Let's search. I also have here some Google icons. Okay, you can use Google icons, so you can download them from the web, and you can just copy Mish Kalipso designer icons. You can create a folder, any name, and you just place the icons over there, SVG, with the extension SVG. And now you can copy the icon, this one. But it's gigantic. 32. The reason why I'm using always 1 to 8 is because if you put it with as much as definition as you want, then if you go for a bigger phone, that will be okay. If you place the 32 right away, and if you go to a bigger phone, that will be a bit blurry. Okay, but that is black, and we don't want the icon to be black. So let's do something. Let me copy this color. Okay. And let's change the color of the icon. Edit, sorry, pick an icon from Google, close this one. Okay. Let's change the color. Okay. 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 And okay. So now we change the color of the icon to be the same color of this small bar. So let's click here. Show form. I think it's probably this one. We change name. No menu. Style. Yes. Or 00 menu. Better like this. Menu. He's complaining about the dimension, just ignore it. And let's see how and I forgot to close the button here. Create an update, going to Android. Okay, so if I click here, see, I have a smaller menu with the pretty letter Sing and the color that is something. So, and is the form that is below, that's why we don't close the form. The form that is below, it's darker, okay? So, but now you notice that color, it's pretty ugly, and then you want to change the color. Random color generator. Let's see some. Okay, with the next. Oh no, that. Okay, this is okay. So let's copy that color, and let's imagine that you don't want to go to each step to change that color. So you go File, Styles, Edit. Okay, these are the colors for the basic style, but I just want to change the color of the label that we created. Remember, label underscore menu 01? Okay, foreground color, let's change that to our little green. I think I'm missing a letter. Oops. Let me see more. Oh, now it's okay. And that's it. Apply, going back. This is applying the color to all labels that have that style. Okay, and now it's green. So now it's really strange. Let me change. You can also create a style for the shape and save it. And then if you want to change that, or if you define on the style that the main color will be the green, that will be applied to everything. So, and again, this image with the text and the background, let's change the background to uh, okay. Let's change also that to Roboto. Line be the same. Corner. Okay. Let's apply that to a new style. Our new button 01. Okay, and let's see. So I want the camera to be equal to that one. So I will click there. Oops, sorry. This one, save. There is. Oh, let me copy. Let me delete that. Sorry. This one, let me change again. Apply, save. Okay. So you can apply styles. You can edit styles manually. You can you can import and export the styles. More things about. Let me see. Let me show just one more thing. How we are about time, João? João.
Sorry that I take my time to reply, but the microphone has to enable. We're okay on time. If you want
Yes,
to explain,
I just want to show one more thing.
so
Okay, if I'm okay with time, let me just show.
5 minutes, and then we go for the questions and answers.
Okay, okay. Let me show. Okay, let me show this, the search thing. Okay, let's reproduce the a similar situation like that. Okay. This is a very easy thing. Okay, it's just an icon with a bar and an input, but it's. Let me reuse the space here. Okay, so I will create a shape again. This is 185. Let's put the color, the darker one, around the tops, maybe like that. More. Not that more. Yeah, that's okay. So, like this. Background. Like that. You can copy paste this. And I will just delete the rounded corners. See, now I don't see anything. So let's search for the magnifying glass. Sorry, maybe I need to do that manually. I hope I have a magnifying glass here. Okay, that will do. I don't want to wait anymore. It's not the correct size. Let's reduce that. Yes, let's change that to white. No, maybe smaller. Like that. Let's change that to white. We say find replace. Find replace. Okay. Now we have a little bar. That will be white. Now we can have an input box that the text will be white. Okay, and now we can remove the border. Okay. Let's test. Okay. So regarding design, I'm not the best guy to explain it to you. I'm not a designer, and the little tricks that they use. But if you know how to play a little bit with shapes and sizes and things like that, let me go back. Where I have that? I have it here. So it's pretty similar, maybe a little smaller size this and a better looking icon, and we'll have it. Okay. João?
Great, thank you, Manuel.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good explanation. Sometimes we forget about the beauty part of applications, and well,
Oh,
for
right
having
now my application is kind of schizophrenic with green and blue and
yeah,
and purple.
of course, we are building a sample, and sometimes there is no time to beautify these. Uh, but we can send you some examples. So there is an example of an application that we built in SysDev, and I can send to all of you the link. It's actually a product called DCF, but this was built in Kalipso Studio. I put the link for the product in the chat so that all of you can see it. And it was made in Kalipso. You can see the screens from there. You can even download the free trial, and you understand that there is a big potential, not only incorporating technologies such as barcoding, RFID, whatever, web services, but also beautifying the thing, making it beautiful, because of course customers want their apps beautiful as well. I think we can proceed to the questions, right, Emmanuel?
Yes, let me just talk one thing that I
Sure.
kind of forgot. So imagine that you have this icon. So this icon is on top of that label, okay? But imagine that you want to other way around. How you can manage that? You go here to focus order, and if you provide better names that I do, you can move the label to a different direction, and now the label is on top of the the close button. Okay, so you can move that thing around. Okay, to up and down depending on what do you need. Okay, a little bit like PowerPoint. Okay, so yes, let's move to the questions.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so let's move forward. So the first question: can I send by email profile communication data, like using link that app will open and pre-fill profile communication form fields?
Okay, let's split this question in many things.
Sure.
One, sending emails. Yes, you can send emails. You can receive emails. Okay. You can receive emails only with POP, but I don't think anyone will use it. And I don't know if the email will be the best way to share a communication profile. Maybe a folder on the. We use, for instance, a QR code. So you can generate a QR code with the communication profile settings, and then you can parse that information and reuse that information on Kalipso. Let's say you can create a QR code with a JSON file, or something like this. So you have your IP address, and like that, easy as you get. You generate the QR code, and you can send, and you can ask the person just to read the QR code. Maybe that's the easiest way to configure your application. Okay.
Okay. Shall we proceed?
Yes.
Okay, next question. This one is in Spanish. I'm going to translate it to English so that we all can understand. So if we change the structure from the database, the update of the project will work in the case that we are working in Android.
If let's talk in different things. If you change the local database and then you update the project, that will not be a problem. Let's do something like that. Okay. But let's imagine that you change something on the database that is connected to a remote database. He will only allow you to update your application after you successfully synchronize the information. Okay, so you need to be careful about that. Create an update.
Oh, but that makes sense.
Yes. And let me close that and update. I put this bigger. See, it didn't complain. Okay, next question.
Okay, so let's move forward. Can we use to build server web service?
No, I'm saying that's not the goal of Kalipso. The goal is not to create web services; it's to consume web services.
Yes, in the case you need. How can we use web services with unknown dynamic JSON response?
You can't. You need to know if they need to tell you how will be the structure of your JSON. That's it. You need the guy that designed the web services. They need to tell how the web service will be. Okay, you cannot guess. That will be impossible. So this, if you go anywhere with a web service, a REST API, they need to explain you what you are getting. Okay. Let me see. Consume. I don't know. This is just tutorials, but they need to tell you what do you will get, because they need to tell you even if you need to use a get or if they need to use a post or anything else. Okay. So that's something that they need to explain to you how. Yes, you cannot guess.
Sure.
that will be difficult.
Sure. This question.
You can try, but will be quite difficult.
Guessing, I guess it would be difficult. This question was made by Telmo. If this is about something specific that you need some help, just send us a message. You can send us a message to our email, and we can try to help you. Of course, if it's possible. That.
Yes, you can also use Postman to help you how to create the request. Okay, let me show you. So let me show you something. Let's. Okay, so this is a request from OpenStreetMap, and if I send the request, I will get a response. And if you want to see how you can do that, okay, you go here on the code, and you have the C URL. Okay, so this was simple; it's just a get. But as you can. Yes, this was simple, but the Postman will help you a lot because you can change something here and try it right away. At least for me, it helps. Okay.
Great. So let's move forward to the next question. Can I use Mish as a web service using a web app?
Mish is not a web service, but let me open Mish. What we are doing here with the web service that is getting information and sending information, Mish will do that with the database. Okay, but if you need to use let me see where I have the web service. If you need to use Mish as a middleman for a web service, you can. But I think it's not what you are asking. So see, Mish. So what this will do is that instead of you making the connection directly to the web service, okay, you will use Mish communicator to do that. Something like, let me show you. Let me explain the idea. Okay, so how can I design something here? Where is shapes? Here. Okay, so you have your application and you have a web service. Normally, you connect directly one to the other, okay? But you can use Mish Communicator to do that. Let's imagine that the web service, you don't want the web service to be exposed to the internet. So you can have Mish Communicator in the middle, like this, okay? And then the Mish Communicator will connect, sorry, oops, will connect again, will connect to the web service, like that, okay? We have some customers that do that when they have web service in the Windows machine and they don't want to make the web service public to the internet. Okay, so it's a question of security and encapsulation. Okay.
Okay. So let's move on. How to refresh a looper partially?
Partially. Let's go here. Okay. You cannot refresh partially. When you do the looper, that will, when you do the refresh control, that will do everything, okay? But you can select a line of the looper with the set selection, okay, by index, okay? And then if you set selection 1, you are for sure that you are on the first line of the looper. And then if you do set value to some value that you have inside that section, you are changing the value of that section. If you want to make it this like from 1 to 5, okay, you just need to create a for each, and you define from 1 to 5, and you update the values from 1 to 5. Okay, so you can use several controls to achieve that. Okay, set selection.
Let's move on. How can we order values on looper?
The same way you order values on a SQL. You order by something. You can order by, let's see, order by quantity. I see, like that.
Okay.
The looper, it's a select. If you manage to order by a select, it will be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I should learn how to spell it. The order by. Sorry. It's order, sometimes order by sometimes my brain
ISC?
freezes. ISC, yes. Sorry.
I think that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's order by quantity.
Mm-hmm. Good. So let's move on to the next question. How to use the control of edit into a looper with even and odd rows?
Control of edit into looper, even rows. So what's the problem with how to use the control of added? Oh, I know what you want to do. You want to do something like line. This line will be with a white background, and the next line will be with a darker background. Can you tell me if it's that what you want to do?
Yeah, I think that's something like that. But the question was made by Luis. Luis, can you please explain us if it's that you wish to do? And meanwhile, I think we can pass to the next question.
You need to do something like so because you are using the set selection to the index of the looper 1, 2, 3. You need to see if the one is odd or not, and if it's odd, you change the background. If it's not odd, you don't change the value, and you can achieve that by dividing by 0 or something like that. Just a mathematical question.
Yeah, you need an expression in order to get the value.
Yes, let me just check set if we have something to check if it's odd or not. I think we don't. No, but numeric. But you can do that with a mathematical question. I think if you divide it by something, if you have a rest, you will do. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So let's move on to the next question. Is it possible to? I think we answered to this. Partially refreshing a looper.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and we also showed how we can do it. So I think we can move to the next one. How can you use Google Maps to set a location pin?
We have a sample with that. See the sample. We didn't talk about you will need a HTML viewer, but we didn't talk about the HTML view today. And you can get the coordinates. I can open the sample. I'm not using Google Maps because Google Maps is a paid platform now. So I'm using OpenStreetMaps for the example. So I'm doing two things here on this example. I'm doing reverse geocoding. Reverse geocoding is when you have a GPS location and you want to know the street name. So I connect, GPS get coordinates just to get longitude and latitude. And then I just show the values on the screen. I disconnect the GPS. And then I will do a HTTP request. So it will be to OpenStreetMaps, and I present the latitude and longitude, and I will get a response in JSON. And that I need to get the value to show on the screen. And, and then I have a HTML file that I will update, okay, and load the content of that HTML file to show on the screen, okay. So I will change just a variable inside the HTML file that is the variable that will define my pin, okay. Basically, it's my pin. Okay, so let me show you. I will get an error here because I don't have GPS, of course, in my phone, in my computer, but I don't know if I have GPS on this device. Let's hope.
Yeah, you do. You just need to allow it. Yeah.
Yes.
So now everyone knows where you live.
Yes. I'm at home. See, it's there.
Referring to samples, I just put it here in the chat conversation, the link from where you can get all the samples. And actually, the last sample that was uploaded was this one about OpenStreet. So it's just getting in there and downloading. Just a quick point, because Google Chrome, if some of you guys use Google Chrome, because Google Chrome changed their policies about downloading files from websites, you might not be able to download it directly when you click on download. If you can't, just click on down on the right button of your mouse and then copy address link and paste it on another window, and you will be able to download it without any trouble.
I also have some samples on my GitHub. So if you want, you can go there and download them.
Yeah.
Can you share the?
Yeah, I can share the link as well.
I share it, I think.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you just shared it. So some of the samples that you're gonna find on the website are also on the GitHub. Maybe some which are on the GitHub aren't on the website. Anyway, we are always trying to keep the information and updating it. So let's move to the next question. This was not a question, but thank you for the feedback. Thank you very much for the feedback. It was really good. So this is a question. Is there any way to make smoother page refreshes on Windows apps? We have an app to read from a scale via a COM port, and the app has a bar that oscillates and changes color depending on weight. We are using force redraw for it to work, but the animation looks quite jittery. Is there any other way to make it smoother?
Force redraw. I don't know. Use on Windows 32-bit. It's always a bit jerky. Please do one thing. Try with the Windows 10 application. Everything, the transitions are smoother. Okay. And if you still it's strange, send an email to support. Okay.
Perfect. So let's move on. Next question: Can we have integration with Outlook calendars?
Yes and no. Directly, no. But if you have an Office 365, I bet they have a REST API where you can access the Outlook. So directly, no. Using the REST API, yes.
Yes, like we mentioned in this.
It's a good example. Azure, Active Directory domain, blah blah blah. Mail calendar, Outlook calendar, list calendars, create a calendar, get the calendar, list events. So see, so they need to tell you get, they need to tell you where, and then you need to probably say something to them. So they need to explain you how to do that. Okay. And they give you an example and you can try it.
Great.
I don't have
It's a matter of using their API.
Yes, but using the API, yes.
Okay. So let's move to the next question. How to create transitions between forms to slide like in the demo DC app?
Between forms, I have to look at this app, but what they are doing, and it's not a form. I forget to talk about one thing. an important one. So let me create a form. Okay, let me change this name. I'll reuse that. Okay. Let me reuse the icon. Okay, what probably, I don't know, because it was not me that did the application. Probably what they are using, it's a tab. Okay, and you can have several tabs. So you can switch between tabs with a swipe. So like, okay. So this one, create an update. Where is it? Okay, see, now I can switch from one place to the other. Next, I think it was this. Next question.
Great. Let's move on to the next question. Well, this one is about Bluetooth and printing.
Next session.
Something we didn't really refer today, but I think
no. Yes, next session we will do that. We will pair and print to Bluetooth printer.
Yeah, so we will let this question for the next session, and try to mention this point. And I think this is going to be the last question. Can I use Google Maps JavaScript API with Kalipso JavaScript object?
No, the goal of the JavaScript is to run a script per se. So let's say you want to do some calculations or something, you can use JavaScript. There are things that are not easy to calculate with Kalipso. With JavaScript, it's better. But you can run JavaScript inside the HTML viewer that we didn't talk yet. Okay. So yes, you can use Google Maps. We have customers using Google Maps. We don't give support to Google Maps. You need to read their documentation. But basically, the idea is that if you can do it inside a browser like Chrome, you can do it in Kalipso.
Great. I think we got no more questions, Emmanuel. So I think we're done for today. Can you briefly tell us what we're going to talk about in the third and final session?
Next session, I will bring, if I don't forget, because I forgot, an RFID reader. It's quite easy. It's something that I can explain in 10 minutes. It's quite easy. Then we will print, okay, and printing, I will print to PDF and I will print to a mobile printer. Let's creating reports, reading data from a database and printing them. We already talked about themes, so that it's already done, and we can talk about the HTML viewer and how to use it. Okay.
Okay, great. Well, if we got no more questions, I think from our part is all. Just a quick reminder, as I was saying, we're going to have the third and final session on the 28th of July at the same time. I'm going to send you guys an email with the recorded session, with this first one, with this second one. I believe all of you received the first one. If you didn't, please just send us a message. And also, I will include this time a link for you to add to your Google Calendar or Outlook calendar or so, the reminder of the third session, because there's going to be some days between this one and the next one, so that all of us can meet there again and well, assist to the final explanation of Emmanuel and finally be able to be pros in Kalipso.
So thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, everyone. And in name of Kalipso and SysDev, have a nice day and a good weekend if you're going on weekend tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.